Now, investors have their attention fixed on today's primary market auction as the Debt Management Office conducts a 290 billion naira T-bills auction. Now, on the bond side, there is mild interest in mid-tenor on-the-run bonds, particularly the 2033 maturity Kinskin Ukeje team lead currency trading at Access Bank joins me now for more trading action. Kinskin, thanks a lot for joining us on the show today. Let's start off really now with the market's reaction. It's about 24 hours since the MPC's announcement to leave all parameters unchanged. How is the market reacting today?
Yeah, thank you very much. On the back of the MPC maintaining all parameters, because it's a maintenance, we've not seen that much of activity from the market in reaction to that, because that's all parameters are still same. However, we've seen a cautious trading on the fixed income space on the back of the NTB, which is being conducted today. Like you said, 290 billion is offered across the standard tenors. That's a 91, 182, and 364 days maturity today.
And let's also touch a little bit around liquidity, the liquidity base we have at this moment. Now, that's also one of the issues stoking inflationary concerns, especially on the back of the higher FAC inflows. For you, how concerned are you around these disbursements and the future for liquidity going forward, and how the strategy around mopping up would unfold going forward?
Okay, from late last week, we've been seeing that the market is in a repo. On Monday, we saw it at repo of 590 billion. It came down. We've seen that lower trajectory. Today is about 375 billion in the repo. But given what the Federal Allocation Communique has published, we should be expecting 1.81 trillion coming into the market, and that should push market into positive. We would see that the CBN will continue to apply measures to control the liquidity in the system so as not to push inflation upwards, and we could likely see an OMO auction late this week or early next week.
And talking about what we should expect now, you had mentioned about today's T-bills auction, but give us some numbers here. What should we expect? And then on the back of the DMO issued calendar as well, this is also showing smaller volumes of debt issuance. What should we expect going forward?
Yeah, for this quarter, we are seeing a reduction in what they'll be rolling over, coming from maturities of about 1.97 trillion. We'll be seeing them rolling over just about 1.76 trillion on that. Today, we are seeing that declining from what is maturing, and we are just seeing them offering 290 billion. And on the back of also the liquidity situations in the market, we should expect that the closing rate should be lower, coming from 16.3% the earlier. In the last auction, we expected to close lower from those levels.
And I was just having a conversation with Praise talking about FX movement as well and how that's impacting the consumer goods favorably at this moment. What sort of range should we also expect? How strong do you expect the Naira in the remaining quarter of this year and say the remaining half of the quarter this year?
Yeah, for the remaining half of this quarter, we should expect that relative stability still sustained. That is, market should still trade between 1525 and 1550 levels. And what we've seen is that the CBN is always coming into the market to show strong presence and curb demand pressures where necessary. We see the CBN coming to curb rates once the market is going beyond a trigger level or a cap level. So we've seen the CBN continue to sustain supply in that market, and also the activities of the FPIs. We know there was a profit-taking measures in which they've taken some funds, but I think our market is still very ripe for FPIs to come in and then invest. So with the balancing of supply and demand, we should expect sustained levels between 1525 and 1550 levels.
And this was one of the key features that the CBN governor made mention of, talking about the sustenance of FPIs at this moment, looking at remittances and then even the overall growth trajectory we've seen in our foreign reserves. How big does the picture get even going forward?
Yeah, the picture getting bigger is on the back of supply strength. What we would just be hoping is with the FPIs always look for activities of the monetary policy makers like the CBN. Let's see what the CBN has to bring out from their box, and that should motivate them. So far as we have strong supply, we should see appreciation in rates before the end of the year. However, if supply dwindles and is taken back, then we should see a depreciation later in the year.
Okay, Kinskin, thank you so much for your time. That was Kinskin Ukeje, Treasury Team Member at Axis Bank.